Welcome to Flourish Focus, where we feature exchanges with fintech innovators all around the world. I'm Lisa Mikkelsen, the head of global human capital at Flourish Ventures. And as a global fintech investor, our focus is identifying technology innovations that, at their core, help directly and indirectly advance financial health and economic resilience for people and small businesses. Today, I'm delighted to have with me one of our fintech portfolio partners, Alloy, a company that provides an identity decisioning platform for banks and fintech companies. And joining me in this discussion is the VP of People, Kim Nguyen. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Lisa. It's great to be here and excited to have this discussion today.
Thanks so much for being here. And Kim, maybe start out by telling us in your own words, what is Alloy?
Yeah. To start, Alloy makes it easy for financial services companies to quickly and safely onboard and manage customers. And we automate the vast majority of decisions companies have to make, and in doing so, mitigate fraud and high cost financial risks, which ultimately reduces the burden of the back office and manual review queues. So it's definitely a dynamic and exciting space. Let me tell you, Lisa.
Thank you so much. And yeah, this is very important and very critical to the success of fintech innovation. So we love the work that you're doing. And now, Kim, one of the reasons we're talking today is about your success with growth and hiring. Everybody knows that in these last couple of years, hiring has become incredibly intense for fintech companies. And we're hearing all about the Great Resignation and people making changes and moving around. I would love to hear from you. How has Alloy managed to differentiate against competition and attract so much amazing talent in these challenging times?
Yeah, we certainly have great perks and benefits, which I'm super proud of. But what we found really sets us apart is our values and the intentional way that we approach building our team. I know that there wasn't anything groundbreaking in what I just said, but quite simply, people join great teams and are drawn to them. So we stick to the basics, and the things that come to mind is that we center on being authentic, leading with empathy, and assuming the best intentions from one another. These are things are what people are looking for, especially during the last 2 years, and I think still what people are looking for now. And so people can always tell whether a company is being performative or not. And so just because we have incredible founders who embody these traits, it's cascaded to the rest of the company. It really stands out to candidates and supercharge the way we have been able to build our stellar team. I also think that we're in a special sweet spot right now because we're growing, but we're doing it carefully. And we figured out a lot. We have an incredible set of customers, partners, and investors, but we really have this incredible trajectory in front of us. And that's definitely part of the draw for a lot of candidates as well.
Yeah, wow. I love what you're saying, Kim, kind of back to the basics. And you and I have known each other for several years now, and I've always been really impressed with the thoughtfulness in which you and the team have really been involved every step of the employee life cycle and bringing people in, creating great employee experiences. And over the last few years, you've really grown a lot in your headcount. And I'm sure there have been challenges along the way and bumps. It hasn't all been perfect. And would love to hear what kind of lessons you've learned along the way as you've scaled the organization.
Yeah, this is something I think about a lot because hypergrowth can sometimes lead to a huge cultural hit. And fortunately, our entire team values company culture and employee satisfaction incredibly high. So as a result, one of the things I think we've done well is seek out ways to better understand how we adapt to the growing size of our team while maintaining some of the customs and traditions and quirks that make Alloy so great. In terms of lessons we've learned, we've really been a constant change with the pandemic and the way our business has grown. So the biggest lesson was really to embrace that change. And that change is a part of our story rather than getting bogged down in that fact. So by doing that, we're able to see change as less of an obstacle and more of an opportunity to continuously improve. So that change allows us to create a better version of ourselves as we evolve together. And that's a lesson we continue to carry with us as a team moving forward.
I love what you're saying there, that become a better version of yourselves. A lot of times companies that are growing, they will ask me, they'll talk about, how do we keep our culture? How do we maintain our culture that we've built as we grow? And I think what you're saying is that, embracing the change and really going back to some of those core values and drawing on those to allow yourselves to change and turn into new versions of what were some of the original things that made you great in the first place. Does that sound right?
Oh, 100% resonates. I think you captured that and bottled it up and probably said it better than I did, actually. So thanks for that, Lisa.
No, you're the one that's doing it. And kind of back to your core values, Kim, the core values that you mention on your website, you talk about them in your job descriptions, every step of the employee life cycle. There's four of them. So let me get these right. There's be bold, collaborate, get scrappy, and celebrate differences.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about those and how important they are and what they look like within your organization, how they show up.
Yeah, I'll focus on a couple because they're all really great, but I think a couple stand out for sure regarding our conversation right now. And the first one is collaboration, right? But being able to center on teamwork really allowed us to successfully navigate together through the challenges of evolving the ways we work as we transition to a hybrid model. And that's been a really strong anchor for the care we put in creating opportunities for team members, especially when they're onboarded, to build connectivity and relationships across the organization. And it's a critical launching point for collaboration to really endure throughout the rest of someone's career here at Alloy. The other one that I think is top of mind is to be bold. And that's really about setting and working towards big goals. And certainly folks are drawn to what we're doing. I mean, who doesn't want to be a part of an incredible team working on ambitious goals and getting it done? Lastly, I think celebrating our differences where we leverage our individuality to enhance our ability as a team to provide an environment where people can do their best work and be their best selves. That value really does feed into the others and helps us hire folks that bring their unique selves and ultimately find that sense of belonging at Alloy.
Oh, very nice to hear and beautifully said. It just made me think about we're all probably familiar with Daniel Pink's autonomy, mastery, and purpose as being really core to what keeps people engaged in work that we're doing. And it sounds like a lot of what you've done with creating these values and integrating these values into the experience are creating a lived experience for people where they're able to have autonomy, to have mastery, to be learning and growing, and then purpose, like tying back to that greater mission. So it sounds like you guys have just really nailed it with your values. It's no surprise you won an award, I think, for one of the top fintech companies to work for. Was it last year? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we won it last year. We're crossing our fingers and toes and everything else to hopefully win again. It'd be fantastic to win 2 times in a row. But I think what's really important for us is that, back to what we talked a little bit earlier, is being authentic, leading with empathy, assuming best intentions. And when we start with those basics, we're able to cultivate that kind of environment where people feel trust and they feel that they have the support to share ideas openly, to have a voice, to maybe give a opinion that may not be status quo. And that allows us to really, I think, embrace the way that we do work together. And I think that stands out to folks. And ultimately, they end up wanting to build this together. And we can do that sort of in a way to scale as a company and as a team. And I think that really drove us to be able to win that type of award, which is a huge honor, and take us to new heights, because the reality is that we're hiring many more folks. And we hope that we can keep that kind of energy and that kind of commitment and that kind of DNA with us as we continue to scale. But yeah, it was a huge honor. And we hope that we can do it 2 times in a row.
Incredible. I'm struck by one of the words that you used, authenticity. I feel like that's been a real buzzword lately. Companies are talking about the importance of authenticity, which when I think about that, it means embracing kind of who you are, embracing differences and being true to yourself. And that's something that I know you've talked a lot about at Alloy and our interactions together. You have a very powerful statement, mission statement around diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I'm interested in hearing how DEI has been a critical part of growing your team at Alloy. Maybe I'll just read the statement because I have it here. Create an inclusive workplace and build a team in which people from all backgrounds can bring their whole and best selves to work, share their voice, find a sense of belonging, and have equitable opportunities to thrive at Alloy. That's really powerful. Tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is a powerful DEI mission statement, and super proud that we have that and built that together. But we definitely invested in DEI very early on. It's part of our core value, that to celebrate our differences value we just spoke on. But we've always believed that having a diverse team leads to better problem solving, decision making, and outcomes. And over the years, have seen that prove out in very helpful and meaningful ways. And so we design and work towards an annual DEI roadmap, which includes programs and initiatives that fall under strategic pillars that help unlock ways for better outcomes of fairness and equity across our practices, and really to ensure everyone has access to the same opportunities. Team members, like we talked about with authenticity, can certainly tell whether or not their company is being performative or inauthentic. And that's something that we're very keen to avoid. We make commitments and take accountability in areas where we're trending well and where we fall flat. And I think that is the key to building the culture that we have been and where we ultimately want to go.
That's incredible. So what I'm hearing, Kim, is that you've set this stake in the ground, the mission statement, which I think a lot of companies do, but you're really kind of going way further beyond that and practicing what you preach and designing systems and creating accountability and asking yourselves to, rate on performance of that. It sounds like you're really treating this as you would any other business initiative. And I love that. It's very, very inspiring. And, definitely congratulate you on working through that, because it's constantly a journey, right?
It's constantly a journey. We don't want this to be something that's superficial. We really want to integrate it, to your point, into the way that we do work, into the strategy that we have in terms of where we want to grow and evolve into.
Now, one thing I'm hearing a lot of, Kim, is that scaling rapidly is really hard for a lot of reasons. I mean, one, the talent market is very tight. Tactics that worked yesterday don't work today. There's also just a need to find new skill sets that maybe are more nascent in the marketplace. And then there's also just simply the sheer volume of hiring is difficult to keep up with, and integrating new people and keeping that machine going. There's definitely a need to be nimble and adapt processes to meet all of those changing needs. How has Alloy been able to adapt to the challenges of scale?
You're right. The key is to be nimble. We've made quite a few changes over the past years. We've embraced hybrid work, right? And that team members work in different ways, and we're continuing to iterate and find ways to enable our team members, whether they are locally based and have the ability to drop in on an in-person event or meeting, to our remote team members who need more opportunities built in to connect, collaborate, and find that sense of belonging. Ultimately, I believe that last piece is critical to making sure that rapid scale hiring works, which is that sense of belonging. With constant change and lots of new folks joining all the time, it can be easy to feel lost in the shuffle and ask, where do I fit in? And so we work relentlessly on improving the ways to ensure that team members don't feel isolated on an island alone. So nailing practices that cultivate and nurture a sense of belonging, I believe, allows for that rapid scale hiring to be done in a way that's positive. The other key things we did was changing our fiscal year to give our team members more flexibility and time during the holiday season at what is already a crazy time of the year. And we wanted to do this to support our team members who put in so much throughout the year, to have an opportunity to really make life and work together in a meaningful way. And then we also adapted in real time to new laws. And we ended up providing and expanding our reproductive rights benefits to our employees. So we cover things like legal expenses and travel expenses and out-of-pocket medical costs. And having this mindset to support our team as the world around them changes has been a key way we've been able to not only attract but retain incredible and talented team members whom I'm super honored and to be able to work alongside every day.
This is amazing stuff, Kim. I mean, it really sounds like what I'm hearing is just a multifaceted approach to how you're able to attract talent, practical ways of making sure you can, navigate the process and challenge of scale, but then also some of these long-term commitments to people that just build loyalty, that build a great sense of belonging and retention. So the work that you've done with values, diversity, and really thoughtful, creative ways of ensuring people have a great experience. It's just fantastic to hear. I'm so grateful for you sharing all these different elements to work at Alloy, what it's like, what you've done. Is there anything else that you want to add before we wrap up this session and sharing with other companies who are eager to learn from you and what's worked well?
I think something that we love to do here at Alloy is that we keep all of these topics front and center. And we're constantly thinking about it, talking about it. I think we're able to do what we do because we have so many stakeholders across the organization who are heavily invested in doing this together. And I think it just goes right back to the basics, pulling in values and pulling in those anchors that allow us to be in lockstep and sort of march towards the right direction and towards that North Star. And I just am so, proud of everything that we were able to do, but I'm very excited about what we can achieve going forward because there's so much more to do.
Kim, we're so grateful for you being here today and sharing. Thank you so, so much. Really delighted to have you on our discussion today.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, Lisa. Thanks again for having me. And it's been such a great conversation.
Thank you. And to those of you who are watching, if you have any questions about today's discussion, about Flourish Ventures or any of our portfolio companies, please feel free to email us at events@flourishventures.com. And we look forward to seeing you at the next Flourish Focus. Thank you.